Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading Sunday worship service. My name is Andy Gatchell, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. My pronouns are he and him. We choose to share our pronouns because we know that people of all genders are whole, holy, and loved. We welcome you here today as we join together to create a space where we nurture and explore individual spirituality, build a committed and loving community, and help heal our world. If this is your first time with us, we're so happy you have joined us. Please visit our webpage to learn more about our beloved community. There you can connect with our staff. For those of us here in the sanctuary this morning, please come speak to Melissa Martin, who has a new title I don't actually remember, in Fellowship Hall after the service, where you can also join us for social hour. And now let's welcome back to our chancel, one last time, the minister who has served us most often in this church here, at least I think he has, and please don't correct me if I'm wrong, the Reverend Fred Small.
The opening words are by Howard Thurman. Look well to the growing edge. All around us, worlds are dying, and new worlds are being born. All around us, life is dying, and life is being born. The fruit ripens on the tree. The roots are silently at work in the darkness of the earth, against a time when there shall be new lives, fresh blossoms, green fruit. Such is the growing edge. It is the extra breath from the exhausted lung, the one more thing to try when all else has failed, the upward reach of life when weariness closes in upon all endeavor. This is the basis of hope in moments of despair, the incentive to carry on when times are out of joint and people have lost their reason, the source of confidence when worlds crash and dreams whiten into ash, the birth of a child, life's most dramatic answer to death. This is the growing edge incarnate. Look well to the growing edge. As we light our chalice this morning with Unitarian Universalists all around the globe, I invite you to call into your heart the flame you kindle this morning, the flame of truth, of community, of commitment to love and justice. Please join me in reciting our chalice lighting words, which can be found on laminated sheets with the hymnals behind the pews. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the holiness we seek. And each week we recite our children's affirmation as a reminder of the most important elements of who we are. Please join me in speaking these words. We are Unitarian Universalists, the Church of the open mind, the loving heart, and helping hands. The green is on, but there's no, is the signal on now? Test 1, 2, 3. That's because I speak loudly. I'm not sure there's any difference. Is there any difference between this and this? Let's try the other one. Test 1, 2. Maybe a little overly. Okay. A note, please. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Please rise in body or in spirit. You don't actually have to hold the hymnal open while we sing this song, because the words I think you already know or will in a is it a trice? What the heck is a trice? Anyway, that's what came to mind. So, if you need the hymnal, feel free. If not, go hands free. Let's try it together. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Beautiful. And this is a round, so we're going to try it as a round, just in 2 parts, not to be overly ambitious on a Sunday morning, but we thought you could handle 2. So let's sing it together one more time, and then we can divide right down the center aisle. This will be the first part, and then the second part will come in right after Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Then we start Come, Come, Whoever You Are, and y'all continue. But let's sing it together in unison one last time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Okay, so we will start with this group, and you all hold off, and then after the first phrase, we'll start here. And I'm the most likely one to get confused, but I'm sure y'all will be able to carry on brilliantly. Here we go. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. And again. Come, come, whoever you are. Worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. And last time. Come, come, whoever you are. Worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come. Beautiful. Have a seat. By observation, there are no children for the Time for All Ages, live anyway, in person here this morning. So I will save my knees and just tell you all the story from right here. How does that sound? My knees, thank you. So this is a story I heard many, many years ago when I was a kid. And I always thought that everybody knew it. And then I discovered way into adulthood that actually a lot of people didn't know it. Maybe most people. I just thought it was just one of those stories, like Aesop's fables or something, like everybody knew. But no. So here's the story. 2 frogs fall into a bucket of cream. Don't ask me how they fell into the bucket of cream. That's just how the story goes. Anyway, the sides of the bucket are steep and slippery, and no matter how the frogs try, they can't climb out. They kick and kick to stay afloat, but as hours pass, they get really tired. "We're doomed," one of them gasps and slips beneath the surface for the last time. The other frog, just one other frog, the other frog keeps on kicking through the long night. Now, no spoilers. Do any of you know this story? That's amazing. Oh, somebody does. We got one hand. Okay. Glad I didn't just make this up out of whole cloth. I mean, if I did, it's an amazing story. Anyway, the other frog keeps on kicking. Well, with all that kicking, by morning, the bucket of cream has turned into a bucket of butter, which is now so thick that the frog climbs out and hops away, safe and sound. Now, the frog who died didn't really die from drowning. That frog died because it lost hope. Now, it's not very likely that you or I or even a frog will ever be stuck in a bucket full of cream, but it's very likely that we will find ourselves in a sticky situation that will make us sad and scared, and we might even start to wonder if we'll ever get out. But if we remember the story of the frogs in the bucket, we'll remember three really important things. Number one, you never know what's going to happen. Number two, never lose hope. And number three, keep kicking. We take time during our service to light our candles of community, peace, and justice. First, we light our red candle of community to signify our interconnection. Whoever you are, in time and space, newcomer or longtime member, here in the sanctuary or joining us virtually, we light this candle holding you in love. As we light this candle, I invite you to speak aloud the name or names of people who are on your mind and in your heart today to bring them fully into this space. Lucy. We light our blue candle of peace for all the places worldwide where people live with the threat of war, especially Gaza, Sudan, Ukraine, Iran, and countries in the Saudi Arabian Peninsula where war and violence are raging. As we light our yellow candle of justice, may all people everywhere live their lives in freedom, and may we each do our part in the work for justice and liberation for all in our global community. As we recommit ourselves to the work of love and justice, may we each voice this commitment by saying, Amen. Thank you, Andy. This morning's prayer is by the late Buddhist scholar and activist Joanna Macy. It's a prayer to our own descendants. And I invite you to join in the spirit of prayer. You live inside us, beings of the future. In the spiral ribbons of our cells, you are here. In our rage for the burning forests, the poisoned fields, the oil-drowned seals, you are here. You beat in our hearts through late-night meetings. You accompany us to clear cuts and toxic dumps and the halls of the lawmakers. It is you who drive our dogged labors to save what is left. Oh, you who will walk the earth when we are gone, stir us awake. behold through our eyes the beauty of this world. Let us feel your breath in our lungs, your cry in our throat. Let us see you in the poor, the homeless, the sick. Haunt us with your hunger. Hound us with your claims, that we may honor the life that links us. You have as yet no face we can see, no names we can say, but we need only hold you in our mind, and you teach us patience. You attune us to measures of time where healing can happen, where soil and souls can mend. You reveal courage within us we had not expected, love we had not owned. Oh, you who come after, help us remember. We are your ancestors. Fill us with gladness for the work that must be done. Amen. In silence, we descend deeper than words, centering down to the ground of being. During the silence, I invite you to pray or to meditate or to contemplate ultimate things. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like to honor through lighting a silent candle, you are invited to come forward now. Please allow those with limited mobility the opportunity to come up first.
The reading this morning is a responsive reading, number 648 in your gray hymnal, excuse me, entitled Beginners. Okay. But we have only begun to love the earth. We have only begun to imagine the fullness of life. How can we tire of hope? So much is in bud. How can desire fail? We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy. Only begun to envision how it might be to live as siblings with peace and flower, not as oppressors. Surely our river cannot already be hastening into the sea of non-being. Not yet, not yet. There is too much broken that must be mended. Too much hurt that we have done to each other that cannot yet be forgiven. We have only begun to know the power that is in us if we join our solitudes in the communion of struggle. So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud.
couple of Earth Days ago, ABC News announced cheerfully, here are 3 simple things you can do to help combat global warming. Number 1, plant trees or other greenery. Number 2, reduce food waste, such as by starting a backyard compost pile, if you have a backyard. And number 3, conserve energy, such as by purchasing Energy Star rated appliances, if you have enough money saved up to purchase an appliance. Now, all of these are good things to do. But the list is noteworthy for what it omits, as well as what it contains. There is no mention of the role of corporations or the governments they spend millions of dollars to influence. There's no hint of the power of collective action to move us toward environmental justice. Instead, we're told, again, that it's our personal choices that are responsible for the climate crisis and can solve the climate crisis, which is precisely what corporations and governments want us to think. So we'll blame ourselves instead of them. Corporations like Disney Entertainment, which owns, ABC News. Some of us are old enough to remember 50 Simple Things You Can Do to Save the Earth. Published 37 years ago, this best-selling Bible of personal responsibility not only urged us to plant trees, start compost piles, and conserve energy, but also offered simple thing number 2, snap 6-pack rings. Remember those? And number 29, recycle newspapers. Remember those? In 1989, when 50 Simple Things was published, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was 353 parts per million. Today, it's 425 parts per million, an increase of more than 20%. Now, it's true, if everyone had done all 50 simple things, we'd have knocked climate change back on its heels by now, but we didn't, and it doesn't look like we're going to anytime soon. So instead of making me feel hopeful, ABC's 3 Simple Things stirred in me a feeling of hopelessness. Need I recite the parade of horribles marching raucously behind our relentlessly warming climate? Or have we all memorized it by now? Heat waves, drought, famine, mass extinction, global economic and social collapse. You know the drill. And now we face an administration determined to undo even our insufficient efforts to address global warming, to destroy renewable energy, and turn our home planet over to the tender mercies of the fossil fuel industry. We have broken faith with the web of life. We have breached the primordial covenant that the earth would sustain us, provided we did not take too much or fail to reciprocate our taking with giving back. And so we are confronted by the inescapable consequence of our transgression, the withdrawal of the earth's sustenance and protection. And all the while, political polarization and escalating violence threaten to unravel the bonds of affection, or at least tolerance, that once kept the uneasy alliance of our diverse population from unraveling altogether. It's not surprising that some of us have abandoned hope. What has surprised me has been the emergence of an active campaign against hope. Some of our most thoughtful activists have concluded that hope is a dangerous distraction from the work that must be done. Hopium, they call it. Storyteller and palliative caregiver Stephen Jenkinson calls hope, quote, the 4-letter word for people who are unwilling to know things for what they are. Our time, he says, requires us to be hope-free. Talitha Amadea Aho, a young pediatric trauma chaplain, scoffs that young millennials will flee any old fogey peddling hope. She claims to find all the motivation she needs in hopelessness. Disparagement of hope has penetrated the academy. In his influential 2017 book, Embracing Hopelessness, eminent theologian Miguel de la Torre denounces hope as an illusion, maintaining oppressive structures. The first step toward liberation, he insists, requires the crucifixion of hope. Many people cannot afford to be hopeful, agrees Jörg Rieger of Vanderbilt University, because, he says, because of the challenging realities of life on planet Earth. Without this embrace of hopelessness, adds Catherine Keller of Drew Theological School, our best aspirations turn to fatuous comfort, virtuous self-delusion, toxic benevolence. In these desperate days, my friends, hope is on the ropes. And yet, the most influential moral voice of my lifetime has been Martin Luther King, Jr. In 1963, when I was 10 years old, my white suburban innocence was shattered by what I saw on our black and white TV. Horrifying news footage of children in Birmingham, Alabama, some scarcely older than I, set upon by police dogs and knocked down by fire hoses, exposing as an obscene lie my daily patriotic recitation of liberty and justice for all. Something was wrong, deeply wrong in my beloved country. I resolved to find out what it was and to do what I could to make it right. Today, the words Dr. King spoke just 2 months before his assassination echo in my mind. We must accept finite disappointment, he said, but never lose infinite hope. If Dr. King was right, how do we hold on to infinite hope amidst so much crushing disappointment? First, we have to untether hope from optimism. Václav Havel, first president of the Czech Republic, was very clear about this. Hope, he declared, is an ability to work for something because it is good, not just because it stands a chance to succeed. It's not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense, regardless of how it turns out. It is this hope, above all, that gives us the strength to live. Rebecca Solnit, who has studied human behavior in the maw of disaster, explains that hope just means another world might be possible, not promised, not guaranteed. Hope calls for action. Action is impossible without hope. According to Buddhist teacher Joanna Macy, whose prayer we shared earlier, active hope is a practice like Tai Chi or gardening. It's something we do rather than something we have. First, we take a clear view of reality, she says. She doesn't say a rose-colored cartoon pie-in-the-sky view. She says a clear view. Second, she says, we identify what we hope for. And third, we take action to move ourselves in that direction. Far from a luxury enjoyed by the comfortable and the cosseted, the privileged and the protected, hope has historically been the lifeblood of the dispossessed and the discarded. Studying the spirituals sung by the enslaved, Black liberation theologian James Cone identified hope for the kingdom of heaven to come. But even in the worldly and agnostic blues, he found enduring hope. The blues, Cone proclaimed, are about black life and the sheer earth and gut capacity to survive in an extreme situation of oppression. Singing the blues, Cone said, black people affirmed an authentic hope in the essential worth of black humanity. The better day of which they sang expressed not naive optimism that things would get better, but as Cone put it, simply the will to be. In his book, Keep Going, The Art of Perseverance, Lakota historian and storyteller Joseph E. Marshall III writes, hope is one of the sparks by which life sustains itself. Hope is most often the companion of the downtrodden. It dwells in the hearts and minds of those who have experienced loss or tragedy. There are no guarantees that hope will bring the desired outcome. But if we do not or cannot hope, we have empowered the cause of our difficulty. Hope can will us to move forward and take one more step, Marshall says. Hope is always one more step. So every discouragement, every setback, every affliction we face is an opportunity to grow, to stretch ourselves, to develop new skills and strategies and spiritual resources because we must. We learn nothing from ease and comfort. Why should we? Everything's fine. Everything's okay. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why bother to change? It is hardship and crisis that challenge us to rethink everything, our assumptions, our habits, our priorities, our lives. They humble us too, reminding us we can't do everything, only what we can do, what is ours to do, as an expression and fulfillment of our unique gifts and talents, and let go of the rest. Do your work, then step back, wrote the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu more than 2 millennia ago. Do your work, then step back, the only path to serenity. When I spoke recently with forest ecologist Dan Wells about the challenges of hope, he raised his arm and pointed silently to the walls of his apartment, which display huge, color-drenched, museum-quality prints of the primeval redwood forest. Images Dan had photographed himself. In his wordless gesture, this is what I heard. I heard, hope abides here, in the ancient forest, in the more than human. Redwoods do not trouble themselves about hope or despair. From seed and sapling to death, decay, and rebirth, redwoods endure. Redwoods are. Dan's silent signal was so simple, so confident, so powerful. It evoked for me Gautama Buddha touching the earth as his witness against Mara, the demonic embodiment of doubt and fear. Episcopal priest and missioner for creation care, Margaret Bullitt Jonas, whom I've quoted before from this pulpit. Margaret asks a trenchant question: what happens in your body when you don't feel hope? And here is Margaret's answer. If you're like me, you contract. When I go into a hopeless place about the climate crisis, I feel small, helpless, alone. There's nothing I can do. Nothing to be done. It's all going to hell, and I might as well quit trying to change that. Might as well curl up in a ball of anxiety and despair, or distract and numb myself, maybe with entertainment, a drink, shopping, something. Hope feels different. In the body, hope expands us, it connects us, it moves us out of withdrawal into engagement, out of isolation into relationship. When we're in a hopeful place, we find energy and courage to act. We know that what we do matters. Margaret invites each of us to name our ultimate hope and what each of us wants to embody in our own lives. It's a potent exercise that's worth some time this morning. So I invite you to get comfortable, but not too comfortable, and maybe close your eyes if it helps you focus. And ask yourself, what is my ultimate hope? And I'll invite the bell to open and close the silence. What is my ultimate hope? And now the second question, what do I want to embody in my own life? Decide what you hope for, says Margaret Bullitt Jonas, and then live inside that hope. Bereft after the unexpected death of her husband, United Methodist minister and visual artist Jan Richardson wrote The Cure for Sorrow, a book of blessings for times of grief. Among them is this blessing of hope. So may we know the hope that is not just for someday, but for this day, here, now, in this moment that opens to us hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and a beating heart. Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite. Hope that knows how to holler when it is called for. Hope that knows how to sing when there seems little cause. Hope that raises us from the dead. Not someday, but this day. Every day. Again and again. and again. Amen.
Each Sunday, UCR gives away half the money received in the collection plate to a nonprofit organization that shares our UU values. It's a simple yet powerful way for each of us to help heal the world. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of June is the Lewis D. Brown Peace Institute. Lewis D. Brown was a 15-year-old honor student living with his family in Dorchester. He worked to challenge the negative stereotypes about youth in his neighborhood. In December 1993, while he was walking to a Teens Against Gang Violence meeting, he was killed by crossfire in a shootout near his home. His mother co-founded the Lewis D. Brown Peace Institute, LDBPI, in 1994 to honor his legacy and continue the peacemaking work he led. The mission of LDBPI is to serve as a center of healing, teaching, and learning for families and communities impacted by murder, trauma, grief, and loss. Its vision is to create and sustain an environment where all families can live in peace and all people are valued. It believes that all families impacted by murder deserve to be treated with dignity and compassion regardless of the circumstances. Their programs and services take a multi-level approach to interrupt cycles of violence based on the principles of love, unity, faith, hope, courage, justice, and forgiveness. The Mother's Day Peace Walk is an annual fundraiser held in Dorchester by the Lewis D. Brown Peace Institute. Funds raised by the walk support families of homicide victims by providing immediate and long-term care for survivors, youth, and multi-generational arts and education programming, advocacy for survivor-centered policies, and reentry support for formerly incarcerated people. Our congregation survives and thrives through the gifts of those who call this place their spiritual home. If you are here with us in this sanctuary, you may put your gift in the plate as it goes by. Otherwise, you can make a gift online or send a check. Please give as generously as you are willing and able to our Share the Plate offering to support the Lewis D. Brown Peace Institute and the mission of UCR. If this is your first time with us, please let the plate pass you by. Your presence is gift enough.
Good morning. I am Melissa Martin, your Congregational Care and Connection Manager here at UCR, and my pronouns are she and her. In our congregational life this week, I wish to invite you to read our June newsletter and to take a copy of your summer gathering brochure that can be found at both entrances. There's lots of opportunities for engagement this month and beyond. At first, I'd like to acknowledge that today is National Cancer Survivors Day. It's a day, It's a day celebrated globally, but today I want to bring it a little closer to home. The National Cancer Survivors Day Foundation often says that survivors deserve to thrive after cancer, not just survive it. As Reverend Fred just reminded us, active hope is a practice of showing up and mending together. And that is where we come in as a church. A diagnosis can leave a long trail of physical, emotional, and practical challenges. And our faith community isn't just a place to celebrate the end of active treatment, it's a place to walk through the rebuilding of a life. Whether you need a meal, a listening ear, prayer, or help navigating the everyday logistics of life after cancer treatment, or any other life-changing transition, your church family is here to make sure that you thrive. If you or a loved one are on this road, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to connect you. For this week in our congregational life, I'm honored to have been asked to present at this month's Liberal Ladies and Friends June gathering this Wednesday, June 10th at 10:30 a.m. I'll offer a talk called The Sacred Thread of Advocacy, Journeys from the First Breath to the Last. This is the evolution of the doula role and our most sacred life transitions. And I'll weave together all of my experiences as a birth doula, a Reiki master, wedding officiant, death doula, and memorial service celebrant, describing how these seemingly different roles are actually all connected. Highlights will be the power of presence, advocacy at every stage, and living fully through planning. This week, you're also invited to stand up for justice at the Bridge Brigade on West Street Bridge this Friday, June 12th at 4 p.m. It's over the Route 93 highway, and it's offered the second Friday of each month. Please see Rob Craig Coman if you would like more information. And also thanks to Rob and Kitty for these beautiful chancel flowers this morning and for hosting Social Hour, and to all of our volunteers and participants today. Excuse me, so many notes today. Next Sunday is Flower Communion Sunday, and we want to remind you to bring your flower of choice for our annual flower ceremony and to stay for a special social hour celebrating our incredible year of growth. For today, come get to know your neighbors. While UCR is our spiritual home, our lives flourish in our neighborhoods where we live, work, and play. And to help bridge that gap between Sunday morning pew friends to our weekday neighbors, we're excited to host our town tables, and everybody's invited. So no matter where you lay your head at night, there will be a table for you. Come join us. Let's move from being people who share a pew to being neighbors who show up for one another. And finally, on behalf of the entire congregation, I wish to thank you, Reverend Fred. Thank you for playing such a large role in our church's transitional year and serving as our most visited guest minister. Thank you for not only leading our services, but for bringing your full spectrum ministry to us and helping us see our full potential as a congregation.
There we are, hooray. So this is a song called Last Day on This Earth by David Roth. We have shared it once before, and I thought it particularly appropriate for today's worship theme. Please rise in body or in spirit. And you may remember that this is a zipper song. One word changes each verse. So once you learn the first verse, you pretty much learn the whole song, except for the chorus, and the chorus is call and response until it isn't, when we all join together at the end of the chorus, but you'll figure it out. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll say I sang. I'll say I sang. I'll say I sang for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, give that a try. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll say I sang. I'll say I sang for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on this earth, let's give it a try. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll say I sang. I'll say I sang. I'll say I sang. I'll say I sang for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, I'll say I laughed. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll say I laughed. I'll say I laughed. I'll say I laughed. I'll say I laughed for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, here comes the call and response. I took one step. I climbed a hill. I said I won't. Then I said I will. I'll say I lived for all that it was worth. I'll say I lived for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth. If this is my last day, I'll say I cried. I'll say I cried. I'll say I cried. I'll say I cried for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll raise my voice. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll raise my voice. I'll raise my voice. I'll raise my voice. I'll raise my voice for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, I took one step, I climbed a hill, I said I won't, then I said I will. I'll say I lived for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, most important verse coming up. If this is my last day on this earth, I'll say I loved. I'll say I loved. I'll say I loved for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, I took one step, I climbed a hill, I said I won't, and I said I will. I'll say I lived for all that it was worth. If this is my last day on earth, if this is my last day on earth, if this is my last day on earth. Thank you so much. Please join us in the chalice extinguishing words found in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. The benediction is by the German poet Rilke. Quiet friend who has come so far, feel how your breathing makes more space around you. Let this darkness be a bell tower, and you the bell. As you ring, what batters you becomes your strength. Move back and forth into the change. What is it like, such intensity of pain? If the drink is bitter, turn yourself to wine. In this uncontainable night, be the mystery at the crossroads of your senses, the meaning discovered there. And if the world has ceased to hear you, say to the silent earth, I flow. To the rushing water, speak, I am.